Good morning, folks, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, whatever the case may be. I'm sorry this video is a few hours late than than the others. It has not been a good night for me, or a very pleasant morning dealing with my cat, Peaches. But anyways, today is, it's day 8 of day 8 of the Pink and Black event hosted by Kristen from ishKristyn and Mushmellow from Dark and Creepy Diamond Painting. Go Team Black. And this is day 4 of my bat, working on my bat. So I'm gonna get started. Yes, so I finished my Cousin Bob, and I kitted it down, and I did a kit down video of it. I will be posting that one. Actually, I think I'm going to be uploading that one around the same time as this one, because I got to plug it into my computer and do, because I've already removed it from my phone to make room for this video. Okay, so shoot. Okay, so the way I do these smaller canvases, and I gotta get, okay, so only need 3. I do 2 rows of release papers, and I forgot to get this done because just before this I went and I got my grotesque Cookie Monster ready, set up, and that entails putting the washi tape on the border, and because of the size, I added parchment paper to the majority of it, and then the rest of it is covered with release papers. And I'm actually working on it in small strips along the small strips, and then so the majority of it is covered by parchment paper, and then the section that's not, I've got that covered with release papers, and then I'm just doing small strips like this, because there's a lot of white, and it's a square, and I haven't worked on a square in a while, so the stick is not the greatest, but I haven't really had that much problems with it so far. So, okay, now that I got the release paper on, the release papers are on. I'm still getting used to, I'm still adjusting to the setup that I've got here with everything. But yes, so, alright. Helps if I have my pen. So, yeah, I do have to get some work done, sorting this all out and whatnot. So, yes, I will be, in the video, the kit down, yes, the kit down video that I did earlier this morning, I talked about about what's going on with Peaches, my cat Peaches. For those of you who've been around for a while, know who Peaches is. For those of you who are in my Facebook group, Mara's Monsters, have seen a picture, or at least one picture so far. I'm gonna try and get some more pictures, find some pictures. I do have some more pictures of him on my computer, so I'm gonna upload those ones, so everybody can see my My emotional support animal. Well, it's more I'm his emotional support human than, but yeah, he is also my emotional support animal as well. Oh God, it's gonna be so hard when he does end up passing, which I know is gonna happen at some point, whether naturally or by me having to put him down, because yeah, his health is not really good right now. He, at the moment, he is currently outside. He's recently started pestering me to go outside again the past couple of days. Actually, just yesterday. So I've started letting him go outside. I'm spoiling him rotten right now because he's having issues with his teeth. He's having troubles eating his dry food. So I have completely stopped feeding him dry food. I'm just giving him wet food. Yeah, so midnight last night, my time. I made a post on Facebook, and Rami from Diamond Painting with Coco reached out, and so I talked with her and discussed a few things of what I could do, because normally I'm able to keep my emotions in check and compartmentalized. Really strong emotions, like negative. I keep a really tight hold on my negative emotions, negative feelings, and because if if I'm not careful, I overreact and become emotionally unstable. And that's what happened last year. What happened was I was at the time I was living at my dad's, and I was seeing a counselor, a mental health counselor, and I was getting ready to go to see her, and I had a basic routine for my mornings. I would have coffee and go out and check on Peaches, because he couldn't be in the house. So he was living in my van. It's a camperized van, so it's well insulated. Has blackout curtains. There's no windows in the back, but it's got blackout curtains so that you can so it's actually dark in the back. And it's got a bed back there, so it is like partially camperized. And so he had a place to sleep. He had the litter box was in there. His food and water was in there, and I was always checking on him. And oh, just a second, he's meowing at the door, so let me go let him in. Hello, Peaches. Hello, Peaches. Are you coming in? Yeah. Yeah, it's trying to snow out there again. Yeah, it's trying to. We are getting a few fat snowflakes. Hang on out. Yeah. So yeah, my poor kitty. So anyways, I was getting the van ready to go, and like before leaving, I would always like clean the litter box, do his food and water, start up the van to warm it up a little bit, make sure that it was going to run, because I was having issues with the battery and the motor, and just overall issues with the van, because it needs some work, and I don't have the money to take it in and get it fixed. And right now I'm good with it just being parked. But anyways, I had just finished cleaning the litter box. I was in a good frame of mind. I had a cup of coffee. I was just finishing up with what I needed to do before leaving to go to my appointment to see my mental health counselor. And my dad walks up to me and starts talking with me about things that were going on, and concerns that him and my bonus mom had, mainly her, to do with me spending money. It's like she was the one that insisted that I make sure that I set aside some of my money for personal use. And so I did, and like that was the money that I would spend on buying diamond paintings for myself to work on. This was in the beginning days of my videos, so but it wasn't just like, oh, the biggest concern at the moment was this table that I had bought. It was a really good price for this table. And she was upset because of me spending money on this thing. And it's like, well, with my dad, it was too early in the morning for me to focus to deal with the conversation. My mind was already focused on going to my appointment. I was still waking up. First thing in the morning, I need time to focus and like get my mind straight on what's going on. And for me to jump from like one thing to another, it has to be a slower process for me. And with the conversation, because it's like at first he came and he's like, well, yeah, I'd like to talk with you about something later, and then he starts talking about it, and it's like, well, I need time to like process this information, and I'm just so focused on I don't want to be late for my appointment. And then he brings this all down on me, and so like I'm like, well, I really gotta go. I didn't have time to really, my mind was just all over the place. It was a jumble because of this. Me trying to focus on and wrap my head around what I needed to do, and all of this new information so early in the morning that my dad was pretty much throwing at me. And so I was running a couple of minutes late to get to my appointment, but I made it on time. But I was really upset, and so I was crying when I got to my appointment. I was crying. I was really upset, and I talked with my counselor and spent that hour just trying to calm down enough and focus enough to be able to cope with what was going on. So by the time I left, I was in a better mood. I was doing better, but I was still basically it was like walking on eggshells, because I was still dealing with PTSD from moving away from my ex in that toxic relationship and trying to focus on better things in my life. So I was still vulnerable, I guess would be the best word that I can think of to use. Still vulnerable to emotional instability. My meds don't work enough. They work just enough. But that was another thing. I was also confronted with this information before taking my meds, because my appointment was always at like 9:30, and this app that I have on my phone to tell me to take my meds goes off at 10, and I didn't take my meds that day because I can't remember. Because we were talking, and it's like, okay, well, I gotta take my meds. But we were talking, and I dismissed my alarm, and then completely forgot to take my meds because I was still going through all of this and trying to work it out. And so, needless to say, I was feeling better, but I was still very vulnerable because I had not taken my meds. And so I figured I'd go home, I'd relax, get some stuff done around the house, and whatnot. I walk in the door, and there's my bonus mom standing there, and then she starts, talking to me about the exact same stuff my dad had been talking to me about, but she was a little bit more abrupt and short with me, because she doesn't like dealing with like emotionally stressful situations, and this unfortunately was an emotionally stressful situation for her. And I didn't get a chance to really respond because she basically said her piece and then left, hopped in her car and took off. And I was still very, very vulnerable, very emotionally exposed. And I went into the van and I laid down to try and stay calm, relax, spend some time with Peaches. But it didn't work. It did not work. I just got really, really upset. It just got worse and worse. I was all by myself at the time. I didn't know. I had nobody that I could turn to. Nobody at all to talk to, aside from my counselor. But she was like in the middle of like another appointment, dealing with another one of her clients. So I had nobody to turn to. And so I called 911 because a few years ago, one of my last attempts, I signed a contract with the hospital in my hometown. Filled out a contract and signed it, stating that if a situation ever arose where I was emotionally unable to cope, and none of my and I didn't have like any like support. Nothing, like I couldn't utilize any support, or what have you. I didn't have any medication that I could use like I do now. I didn't have anybody that I could talk to. I just, nothing was like, there was nothing that I could do aside from calling 911. So I called 911, and just as the 911 operator answered, my dad showed up. And I started talking on the phone, and he's like, well, what's going on? And I was not talking to him. I could not say a word to him. I was talking to the 911 operator and trying to explain to the 911 operator that I needed an ambulance. I needed to go to the hospital because I couldn't handle it. My anxiety level was through the roof, or over the roof. Sorry, that's from another YouTube channel. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I needed professional help. So, and then the operator asked if there was somebody there, and I'm like, well, yeah, my dad's here. And she's like, well, can I speak to him? So I handed the phone over, and my dad's like, I don't know what's going on. I just got home. She's on the phone with you and crying, and she's not speaking, she's not saying anything, and I don't know what's going on, and yeah, I couldn't stop crying. And then an ambulance, he explained how to get to the house, and the ambulance showed up, a couple of paramedics, and they took my vitals, and I couldn't really talk. It was hard for me to talk. But just before I left with the paramedics, I gave my dad a hug, and I said, and I told him it was not my bonus mom's fault that I was like this. It was all me. And I just didn't know how to, I couldn't explain to him in a way that he would understand as to what was going on with me, as to why I was like that. I still am unable to explain to him, for him to actually understand. He doesn't believe in he just doesn't understand. Yeah. I have tried talking with him in the past about my depression and about my daughter's depression, and to him it's just words. It's just labels. To him it's just labels. The doctors are just labeling us, and to him it doesn't mean anything. If you're it's like, suck it up. If you're upset, suck it up. It's not the end of the world. My sister is similar. My sister, she is bipolar and suffers from fibromyalgia now. I don't know how long she has had fibromyalgia, because I don't really communicate with her very much, and for certain reasons that go back to childhood trauma, and yeah. Anyways, so yeah, because I wear glasses, I am extremely nearsighted, like extremely nearsighted. I have required glasses in order to be able to see anything further than 6 inches from my face since I was 7 years old. And so, and anything like beyond that is a blur. It's blurry. I can still walk. I can still do basic things without wearing glasses. But yeah, I cannot drive. I cannot drive. I cannot handle, I can't do anything really major Like, I can't cook. Basically, I can, like, get up, go to the bathroom, and go back to bed without wearing my glasses. Anything that requires more than that, forget it. I need my glasses. Yeah, so I was not wearing my glasses because I needed my glasses off my face so that I could, because of bawling my eyes out, right? So anyways, I could tell one of the paramedics was bald. He was the one that drove and was a little bit shorter than the other one. The other one sat in the back with me and talked with me, and I could tell that he was wearing sunglasses, and the sunglasses really piqued my interest because of a particular YouTuber that I like to watch. That he's an interesting character, pretty good on the eyes too, but he wears sunglasses all the time. The only time I've ever seen him without sunglasses was when he was, it was in a picture of him and his wife. It was a picture of the two of them wearing face makeup for Halloween, and he was not wearing his sunglasses. So, yeah. And so I told the paramedic about this particular YouTuber and how his sunglasses reminded me of this guy. Now, so I was able to, after a few minutes, I was able to calm down enough to be able to talk with the paramedic about what was going on, why I was acting the way I was, why I was so upset and crying and all that wonderful blubbery stuff. And I was starting to feel better, but I still needed to see a doctor, because like I was like the littlest thing, would have set me off again. So get to the hospital, and when I finally put my glasses on and saw that particular paramedic, oh my God! I immediately wanted to call 911 again when I got home, in hopes that he'd come be one of the paramedics that came back. Cause Anyways, yeah, good looking, very, very good looking. So, anyways, now I'm blushing a little. So anyways, I ended up finally, doctor finally came and saw me, and I talked with the doctor about what was going on, what had happened, and all of that wonderful, lovely stuff. And she gave me a pill, and she gave me a prescription for more. And I've only had to take one since then. But just being able to talk to someone helped. That's why by the time I got to the hospital and saw the doctor, having been talking with this paramedic on the way there, helped a lot. I have been in and out of counseling my whole life, since I was really little. So I've gotten used to oversharing. And my dad has given me heck for that in the past, about oversharing. Well, I can't help it. It's just part of my nature. Because when you're talking to a counselor as a little child, you get used to spilling everything, basically. You get used to talking about, because they have ways of making you talk. And yeah, they give you a safe, comfortable environment that makes it a lot easier for you to be able to open up and talk. And yeah, I was seeing counselors when I was little. I cannot tell you as to why. It was so long ago, I don't remember. I have vague memories of seeing counselors, seeing professionals for one reason or another. I remember one time my mom and I, we were staying, I was a patient at the Vancouver Children's Hospital. Couldn't tell you as to why. Nope, not a clue. I was there talking to a counselor. That's all I really remember. My mom was there, and this was way back, because she's been gone for 37 years. So, and it was back before she was like too sick to do anything. So yeah, that's going back a long ways, and it's amazing that I still remember this. But there are certain things that really stick in my mind from back then, and one of them being my mom and I in the Vancouver Children's Hospital, and they gave me, I know it's weird, they gave me a menu, and it's like, well, pick what you want from the menu and we'll bring it to you. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And I came across spinach. Oh, I've never tried spinach. Papa eats spinach. I think I'll give it a try. Yuck. That's one word. Yuck. I've never had spinach since. I might someday, possibly. Who knows? But yeah, I just know that I've been in and out of like counseling all my life, basically all my life. And I could not tell you as to why. I don't know if my dad, I've never actually spoken to my dad about it. Maybe I should ask him, well, why did Mom take me to the hospital in Vancouver to see some mental health professional? Because I remember playing with like a little toy family in the house, and I guess it's like they're wanting you to simulate, like they're hoping that you'll play with these little figurines and reenact scenes of incidences that occur at home. Well, no. I had quite the vivid imagination back then. I still do, because I love to read. And yeah, so what I was making, the things that were happening with that toy family, no, never happened in the real life. No. That's just like in high school. When I was in high school, and in class, if we had a written, like a test, and there was room on the back of the last sheet. It's like, when you're done your test, flip your test over so it's face down, so nobody can read it, and then wait. Quite often I was finished before like a lot of the rest of the class, and so I would just sit there and I'd write stories on the back page. I'd write little short stories, little things, and then of course on the bottom of the page I would have a disclaimer. Everything that's written on here is totally fictional. It's made up. None of it is real. And I think I mentioned in a previous video that, yeah, I mentioned in a previous video about this and how I used to do that with science tests. And there was one time that I forgot to write the disclaimer at the bottom of the page, and my teacher pulled me aside the next day, and he's like, well, yeah, I'm a little concerned about this. I'm like, oh yeah, it's all made up. It's all totally fake. Usually I write on the bottom that it's all made up, none of it's real. I used to love to write stories and stuff, and the reason that it never went further than that was because a large portion was because of my sister. I would try keeping a journal, but she'd always find it and read it and pick on me and tease me, and which just made it that much harder for me to write and keep it up. My mom used to encourage me to write my stories. She used to tell my brother and I stories at night, at bedtime. And we'd switch bedrooms. So each night, it was either, like, we'd rotate. It was, yeah. And, yeah, like, if I had a story, there was one night she was telling a story in my brother's room, and I went in there and I'm like, well, can I tell you my story? And she's like, well, why don't you write it down and then read it to me later? I'm like, okay. Yeah. I don't remember what happened after that. But yeah, that's going back a ways. That was also before she got really, really sick. And, oh God. I want to open it without it popping open and everything flying all over the place. There, okay. So you'll notice from the previous video, the difference between the previous video and this video, I swapped. I got rid of the big one. I just grabbed this one from my container of meds. It's like, well, it's empty. I'll just use it. Yeah. So yeah, when I was little, I've always loved reading books. In elementary school, I was reading at like 2, 3, 4 grade level higher than everybody else in my class. Recess and lunch, I'd rather go to the library. I'd rather sit in the library and read a book than go outside and play. I wasn't always like that, though. There were days that that's all I would want to do. That was when I didn't have any friends to play with. And then when I got a little bit older, I started making friends, and actually I only had one friend in elementary school, and she was like my brother's age. Yeah. So, wait, I'm gonna see if these will all fit into this one. Yeah, she was my brother's age. Yeah, they won't all fit. Alright. Or maybe a year younger. I can't really remember now. But anyways, I just remember she was a little bit younger than me, and we actually met at church because she was we both went to the church just down the street. I went by myself, and she went with her family. and we became really good friends. And she lived kind of around the corner from our place, and so, and she had an older brother and a younger sister and a younger brother. And when we got a little bit older, I ended up with a little bit of a crush on her brother. But it was to be expected. Like, I was over at her place all the time, hanging out with her, and her brother was there, and he was good looking and closer to my age, and so yeah, I had a little bit of a crush on him. But that was as far as it ever went, because yeah, that was it. I kind of babysat a couple of times for her parents. Like, babysat her younger brother and younger sister, but it was like not one of those, like, it wasn't like a paid babysitting job. It was like, okay, I was the oldest in the house, so I was in charge. I was practically family. I was there so much and hung out, yeah, spent so much time there. Yeah, I was practically family for a long time. And then they moved across town. Oh, I hated that. Oh, I did. I hated it when they moved across town, because then it was like, it would take me an hour just to bike to their place. And then it's like, well, by the time I got there, I would be lucky if I was able to hang out for an hour, because then it would be like an hour to bike back. Because I'm not the fastest at bike riding. Plus the hills. Alright, so, all done. Yay, all done. Yep, coming along nicely. Woohoo! Now I can get back to Cookie Monster. Alrighty then. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't bum you out too much. Anyways, I'm gonna go, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.